So in the computer-based test, the listening, we will be having only 2 minutes. 2 minutes after the test to just cross-check the answers we have written. And writing, it will remain same, but yes, there you are typing, not doing on the paper and pen. So that's how it is. And speaking, it is like same, face to face with an interviewer. That will be same.
Okay.
So it's like if you feel more comfortable, yeah, and obviously there will be less people around you in computer-based test as compared to paper-based. Paper-based, there are many people sometime in the same hall, you can say. But in the computer-based test, just like PTE, there will be 7, 8, 9 candidates around you. So that's how it is, right?
Oh, listening we are hearing through headset.
Exactly the same way you're doing it. We are talking about the computer-based IELTS, computer-based IELTS, right? So nowadays it is available, and anyone is after that. Some people know that already, and if even anybody is after that, you can go to that IDP website, and there they just gave that test in whatever pattern they'll be following in the real test. So it's like you can experience that. It's a kind of virtual description. So you can go there. So it will tell you in a video like how that test goes on with different modules: the reading, the listening, the writing. So as for the speaking, it's same. It's like face to face, right? At it is in paper based test. All right. So we will be doing writing today. Essay. That's task 2, and it's not. It's like the entirely 1 hour we will be talking about it. Maybe 1.5 hour. And after that, I want you to ask questions if you are, sticking around some particular score, you're not exceeding from that level. So if you want to if you want to ask any question, so then you can ask in that moment, because that's how I'll come to know about your problems in writing, and I can give you more better solutions for that. So let's wait for another 2 minutes, and 2:10 we will be starting with the class. That's writing for today. So have you guys followed the Sika Melbourne Facebook page? Mm-hmm. Say, are you following that Sika Melbourne Facebook page or Sika Sydney Facebook page? Because there you will be getting all the updates regarding classes, IELTS classes, PTE classes, and NATI classes, and definitely about the visas. And as you guys are after Canada migration, so it will be like there is a upcoming seminar regarding the Canada immigration, sorry, Canada migration. So it's like that you can join that. It's like nothing you have to pay for. So there will be lot of things going on right now. So do that, because you will be getting lot of information, and it's free these days because of this situation going on, the hardships of the life right now. It's free. The advices are free. So you can see there are many options available for different kind of things. All right. So
So
just a minute.
what
Yeah.
is the name to follow the
CECA. That's the name. You can see the name, behind me on the wall. It says
yes?
CECA. Sika.
Ah, PT.
No. CECA.
Ah, okay. And that's it?
Company name. Yeah, that's it. You'll search Sika, write Melbourne, maybe Sydney, and you will get that Facebook page. And when if you are if you after student visa, migration visa, PR, or you want to change your education provider, anything. So the many services are going on, and those are free. So you can simply like that. You will start getting updates. And regarding the events also, the seminars regarding certain visa situation, the migration purposes. So there is a lot of information.
Mhm. Okay.
All right, let's start now. So I'm sharing the screen. So this is our CECA, SECA, you can see here.
Mhm.
And same name is of the page, Facebook page.
I
And
found
these
it.
are the services you will be getting regarding information regarding these services. The IELTS classes which you are already attending, and after that there are many other things available. So this is the also number, you can call on this number for any kind of information. So all right, let's start with the writing now. So writing task 2, that is essay. We know that it is common for academic and journal student, because writing task 1, it is different. Academic students, they go after the diagram description, and the journal candidates, they have to do a letter, right? But the writing task 2, it remain an essay. Yes, but there is a slightest difference, that is in terms of the essay statements and the subjects of the essay. So for the academic student, the essays will be more of academic context, and for the journal, it will be more related to the journal life. Maybe it is generally related to the computer benefits and drawbacks. Maybe it's related to the something like children should be given more time for play or education, right? So or how a person can gain experience through actually living that thing, or just coming to know about from any other person by experience or by surroundings. So it's like the such essays will be there in the journal, and more of academic nature will be essay will be there in the academic writing task too, right? So first of all, as I usually tell you guys, the essay is always into the two things we have to look for into that. One part is the statements part, another part is the question part. So till the time you are not actually answering the question part, your essay cannot have 7 band, more than 6 or maybe 6.5, you cannot score that. So it is very important to understand the question part and actually writing the whole essay as it is said in the question. I'm just explaining a bit more so that you get the clear understanding of it. You see here, you must understand the question before you attempt to answer it. This way you will know exactly what the examiner is looking for, right? So whenever you will be getting an essay, just in case I'm showing you one statement here. Okay, it has this statement, right? Example question. You see here, computers are being used and used more and more in education. So this is part 1. This is part 1 of the essay statement, which is only a statement. And now this is the another thing. This is the question part. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion. Now this is called question part. So it is very important to understand the question part if you want to have score which is somewhere around 6.5, 7.5, right? And that's how you will be getting score for the task achievement, which is one of the parameter of marking criteria. You know that task achievement, your grammar, vocabulary, cohesion and coherence. So these are the things, these are the 4 pillars, and out of whatever score you are getting for each pillar, so that gonna be counted as your total score, and further it will be divided by 4, then comes your final score. So this is how they calculate your marks, right? For the IELTS writing task 2. Sheetal, hello, how are you? Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Okay, this is writing we are discussing. Task 2 we just started off.
yeah. This is first slide.
Yeah, this is the first one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the first one.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so some student, what they do, they don't understand that part. They just read the statement and think about the given topic. Okay, this is the statement, this is they just asking. Leisurely they just read the question part, they more focus on the statement part, and they just start writing their essay and finish it off, right? So what happened if certainly it will be having maybe one part of the question you are describing that, but if the another part, if the question has three parts further in it and I just describe the one part, definitely I will not get the required score, I will not get the desired score, right? So if all the three parts of that question are explained in the essay, only then I'll be getting, because this is a major parameter, this stands alone, which said as task achievement, right? Now to analyze the question, that means what type of essay you are about to write, what you have to do, you must first identify the question type. So after the statement, what kind of question is written in there? So if it's a question which is asking me to give views regarding the subject, the both sides, the positives as well of the subject and the negatives as well of, right? Maybe it's saying, okay, choose one side and give your opinion on that, right? Or maybe it's asking, okay, this is the problem, tell me what are the solution to this, right? Or simply he might be asking, okay, what are the pros and cons of this situation? And after that, he said, give your opinion. Now it has three parts: pros, cons, and opinion. And if I just not able to reach to the, if not sorry, okay, let me add this.
When they say advantages and disadvantages, you have to describe both and then give your opinion.
It depends what is written in the question.
Oh, the question you showed before, it was written, say your advantage and disadvantage and speak your opinion.
Exactly. Then that means the body paragraph 1 will be dedicated to the advantage, second to the disadvantage, and when you are writing the conclusion, there you will be writing your opinion as well. That means what you feel about which one is better, which one has more weightage,
Got it.
maybe the advantage or disadvantage. And you know, when it says your opinion as well, so what the structure I am calling here, the structure I share with you all is like that. Okay, advantage, write one advantage, talk about it, exemplify it, and after that say why you feel this is good, why you feel this is advantageous thing to do. So it is kind of your opinion in the body paragraph only, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, so I'll be coming to that structure wise every type of the essay, right? So then identify the keywords in the statement, right? When you find the question, when you identify the question, what type of question it is, identify the statement keywords. That means just take out what terms I'm going to explain in this essay, right? And finally identify the instruction word. And we know that instruction word, what they say 250 word essay in 40 minutes. So that means I must not write, I would say, more words than 250 words, because if I'm doing that, ultimately that it shows that my incapability of describing the asked thing, of describing the asked statement in 250 words. The more words I'm exceeding than 250, like I am actually reducing my score. I'm reducing my overall score for that writing essay module type, right? So it's very important to stick to the word limit. Planning the answer, it is also inseparable part of writing an essay. Whenever you getting the statement in front of you, never forwardly just don't start writing it, because what happen if you're doing that, ultimately when you are in between the essay, maybe you are writing introduction only, suppose, right? And you are about to finish the introduction and then you realized, no, I have better words for this, I can write in a synonym way, and I have more better vocabulary to write here. So what happened? You have to rub that in case of PBT, and in case of CBT, computer based test, you have to delete the entire thing. This is wastage of time. It will make you nervous somehow, because you just wasted maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, writing introduction take up to 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right? And you just wasted that entire time. So ultimately, it's very important to plan the answer prior. Just think about what you're going to write in the introduction. Introduction, I'll tell you 3 sentences you have to write. So you have to plan those 3 sentences prior when you are devoting time for planning the answer. So how much time you are devoting here? Like we have 40 minutes, right? So out of 40 minutes, take out 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes you keep them for planning the answer. 30 minutes you write your answer, and last 5 minutes or maybe last 4 minutes You are just proofreading that for your grammatical mistake, for spelling errors, for checking for the sentence structures, and for the punctuation marks. So everything you have to proofread, everything you have to see whether whether you have made such tiny errors, mistakes here, then you have to rectify them, right? Whose mic is turned on, please? Okay, I'm turning it off, and kindly keep it that way, please, because the background noises distract. Like I just got these distractions, right? Okay, and yes, when I am having those 5 minutes, just plan your introduction. Then what you going to write in the body paragraphs, what kind of supporting details you are going to give with those ideas which you're going to explain, and what kind of examples you are putting with that, right? Examples are very necessary. You cannot miss on example part, right? And then conclusion, definitely it's a kind of restating your ideas, your opinions, right? But what happened again, you cannot use the same words in the conclusion. So these are very ignored, I would say ignored and important thing at the same time, which actually reducing your score. Maybe you are a student of caliber 7, but how you are standing at 6 just because of these ignored errors? Because we not we nobody has told us, okay, these are the things which are accountable for your score, and if I'm doing that right, I'm not getting the required score. All right, some student even have this question, okay, I did a great job, I write a great essay, the vocabulary, this and everything I followed. Maybe you haven't followed the basic things which need to be there, and that's how you just, maybe you are about to receive 7, but you came back to 6.5 or 6, right? This is the journal score where normally I know many students are stucking out there. Maybe they require 7 and they're just stucking out at 6.5. This is the very journal scenario, right? So even just with these structures, I would say the structures I'm going to do, if you start embedding these structures into your essay writing, definitely it will boost up your score. Maybe it's a point 0.5, say it's a half band, but half bands matter a lot here, right? Okay, now you know that this is the format, 250 words, right? And you have to use mixed sentence structure, right? You know that there are 3 sentence structures: the single, where you are just writing one sentence and you are discussing only one thing in that sentence, right? Second is compound, when you are writing things, when you're discussing two things in one sentence, maybe you are using the connector and, but, such kind of, so two things. And complex, when I am just using the punctuation marks and the connector words, and I'm writing 3 to 4 things in one single sentence, that's called the complex sentences. So you should give a mix of the sentences in your writing. Better if you can write in the complex, but yes, I always say for the writing, follow 100% rule. Whatever sentence you're writing, maybe it's a simple sentence you are writing, but if you're sure this is 100% grammatically correct, it is far better than writing wrong complex sentence, right? So it will fetch you more marks writing a single sentence but in right grammatical structure rather than writing a complex and wrong grammatical structure. I hope you get that, right? So there are 4 paragraphs in total we will be framing in the essay. So we are not exceeding in any case. We don't have to exceed to the 5 paragraph 6. No, max you can write 5 paragraphs. Minimum you have to write 4 paragraphs, and that's the structure we're gonna stick to. 4 paragraphs, right? So out of 4, first will be your introduction. As you can see in the screen, write an introduction. The introduction should tell the examiner what the rest of the essay is about and also answer the question directly. So I'll tell you how it will tell the examiner that I understood the essay, and I also giving the answer to the question asked in the essay directly. And also it will tell the examiner, okay, this candidate actually understood, and now she is going to frame a more accurate and appropriate essay as per the given statement. So your introduction need to be really polished. Your introduction need to be really crisp and clear regarding 3 things, which is paraphrasing of the statement, thesis statement, and outline statement. And if I'm following these 3 things as I am going to tell you just now, so definitely you are including what examiners are looking into the introduction part, looking into the introduction part. So introduction need to be very impressive because that's the opening of the essay. And ultimately, if somebody have your sheet, he just start reading essay, right? So the first thing will be he will be reading the only the introduction, and if it's not that much good up to the expectation, so the examiner is a human, yeah, so he'll have that mindset, okay, that if the student is average, right? And if introduction is really impressive, ultimately this is a human tendency. It's like nobody can judging you like something like that, but it's like, okay, maybe this student, yeah, maybe I just not good with the very so different sentence structure, but still my introduction is very impressive. So that ultimately that examiner gonna have that mindset, okay, now this guy know how to write, writing skills are maybe gonna be great. So it's like very important to add the certain things that will give examiner, okay, this guy understand what the question in the essay is about, and he or she is going to talk about that particular topic only, particular question only. So task achievement is done there and then only, right? Now next paragraphs are our body paragraphs, right? We name them as body paragraph 1 and 2. So they will be having the details. Definitely whatever you will be telling in introduction that I'm gonna write this for this given subject, so these paragraphs gonna discuss them in details with supporting ideas, with examples, right? So here it will be having supporting details with the explanation, and relevant examples will be here, right? And it is very important to put examples in these paragraphs, because actually if you read the instruction, it says that support your answer with relevant examples, right? So relevant is also important. Just not writing example is not enough, it need to be relevant at the same time. Then last paragraph will be our conclusion paragraph, right? So in your conclusion, you should provide a summary of what you already said in the rest of your essay. So you know that conclusions are always summaries, like whatever you have discussed already through the paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and obviously the introduction. You're gonna restate the same ideas in the conclusion. You are restating your views. Yeah, you are concluding them up. So, but it's important at this stage, you should keep this in mind, that you are not using the same vocabulary in the conclusion as you used in the above paragraphs, all the 3 paragraphs. If you doing that, your scores for the vocabulary, they're gonna reduce. Maybe I'm just picking up the 2 words in the same position in the sentence. So what happened, they will be like, definitely it's like only 250 words, right? So it's not that examiner gonna forget, okay, I just read this word before. It's not like that. For the same thing, I just read this, it will ultimately it will come to his mind that I just read the same word for same thing previously in the essay as well. So it will show your lack of lexical resources, which will decrease your score for the vocabulary. And that's the another parameter for the scoring, for the marking criteria, right? Now these are the essay types. These are the common essay types you will be having in the IELTS. Say it's journal, say it's academic. Opinion type of essay, where you will be asking whether you are agree or disagree with the given statement. Then advantages and disadvantages type of essay. Then problem and solution type of essay. Then discussion type of essay. That means there you have to discuss, some people believe this, some people believe that, what discuss both views and give your opinion. So some are like this, discussion type of discursive. Then 2-part question. So it is like, normally a statement definitely will be there, a statement is there, and after that there won't be a one single question like in the another 4 categories. For this particular essay type, what will be happen, those 2 single question will be given. I'll show you how it will be. Okay, these are the 5 types, and this is the first one we are discussing here. It says opinion question. So the typical question word, now you know, I told you already, this part is called statement part, this part is called question part. When I get an essay in front of me, so I'll divide it into 2 parts, the statement part and the question part. So when I'm saying typical question word, it means that I'm talking about this line at the last, which is actually a question every time, right? Question part. So the typical question type, if those are the words like questions like, what is your opinion? Do you agree, disagree? To what extent do you agree, disagree? Or a direct question is asked to you, that mean it is a opinion type of essay. Why I have to understand and why I have to differentiate between different types of the essay, because you guys need to follow different structure for every type of essay. For every out of all five types, you need to follow different structures. The overall paragraph gonna remain four only, but structure of the paragraph that depends on particular essay type. Now this is the exemplary question. This is your opinion type of essays will look like. Some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school program. For example, working for charity, improving the neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. So the question says, to what extent? So to what level do you agree or disagree? So this is the opinion part, opinion question type. So this is the structure I'm going to follow for the opinion essays. So the first sentence, I will be paraphrasing the statement. Here it need to be written like statement, right? So paraphrasing the statement, that means here I have this statement. Some people believe this and that unpaid community service should be important part. So here I have to paraphrase the same statement, but I must not use the same words, right? So now paraphrasing can be done in two ways. I would say in three ways, right? First, you can use synonyms, like synonyms for each and every word over there. And if you know the synonym, that's the best thing you can do, right? And then secondly, you can change the order of the words, right? Maybe pick up some other order for the words you want to write. You are not changing the words, you're keeping the words same, but you are changing the order of the words. That's the another thing you can do, but that's like if you do not know anything you do not know any synonym for the word over there. And third is, you can club these two techniques. Some of the words you know synonyms of, some of the words you do not know any synonym. You are like you're gonna use the same word, but what happened, you will change the word order and put up the synonyms for whatever words you feel you know them. Just put up there. It's a kind of mixture of word order and synonym technique. So this will come out as technique number 3. So majority of students follow this one, because sometimes some words we know the another word for those words, but few words we do not know what I can write in place of this word. So in that case, just mix those both technique and write your paraphrase the statement, right? Then comes the second sentence, which need to be thesis sentence, statement sentence, whatever you say this. It is agreed that, or it is disagreed that. So this essay agrees or this essay disagrees. So it will start with the signposting language discourse marker, which is like it is agreed, it is disagreed, this essay agree or this essay disagree. So whatever this statement is saying, after that I'm going to write that statement. So if it's for this type of essay, now what this essay is saying, that people believe that these services should be compulsory part of the higher school programs, right? So now this essay agrees that, my thesis statement will be like, this essay agrees that the important subjects like financial planning requires to be or must to be, if it says need to be, should be, yeah. So you can write here need to be the essential or inseparable or essential part of the syllabi, higher studies syllabus, you the word, the way you write it is syllabus, right? So this is like I paraphrase the words as well. That mean I just use synonym wherever I can, and I tell that. So now disagree saying that. So this will give examiner the clear picture. Okay, this candidate has understood the statement part well. If you are writing this statement, right? So this is a important thing to add in the opinion type of essays, and you just have to write what is your understanding, how you feel about the given statement there, how you feel about the given essay there. You get that, right? If the essay is saying that it should not be compulsory part of the. So I'll be writing like this essay disagrees that right. I'll be writing like that. So this is called thesis statement, the way you feel about the given subject, right? This is your understanding of the given essay. So it means if you're writing like that, the examiner can easily get that this student understood the statement part. So that means the essay going to be very logical, clear, and synchronized in the ideas gonna be discussed. So it is like it makes it impressive, and also it is one of the thing that we have to include in the formal essays.
Aman,
Yes, please.
we just need to write the agree or disagree in introduction only. But to what extent we do not need to write in introduction? Is it?
See, the thing is, here the question is saying, to what extent do you agree or disagree? This is the question part, right?
Yeah.
This is not the statement part, right? But
Yeah.
here, till this thing, I haven't said you that you are gonna add here this question part. This is only the statement understanding. What is your
Okay. Yeah.
understanding of the given statement?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the outline essay will tell what you are going to explain in the essay. That means now this part will answer the question part. You get
Okay.
that?
Body
Now
paragraph.
this essay will discuss. It is comes as my opinion. This essay will discuss what it's going to be discussed. That if it's if suppose I'm a person of the opinion that it need to be the part of the curriculum, school curriculum. So it's like this essay will discuss benefits of having these subjects in the school curriculum in details, and maybe you can add the reasons why, like if there is such reason that more responsible adults. So this essay will discuss how people can, how students can become more responsible adults, and maybe one more idea. And that this is how I'm closing this, the last statement. This essay will discuss how the students will become more responsible adults. Full stop. That now this has answered the question that I am the opinion of the person who agrees with this, because I'm saying something beneficial of this situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now the body paragraph one. So whatever you have said here, maybe you said responsible adult, and just give me one more idea for this given essay. Why it need to be there, the part of the school curriculum. Just say one more idea. Anyone? Think
Update,
about it.
update skill, update skill knowledge, or
You can
like
see examples here: working for a charity, improving the neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. So just think of any idea. This is how you will learn. Thinking of ideas, brainstorming for the ideas. Alina, Shans, guys, give one idea at least.
How you
Mohsina, Kiran, Haira,
say
everyone.
about conclusion?
No, it's not about conclusion. Why it need to be part of the school curriculum? Answer that why. Why?
Because it give more responsibility to the children and add more value in their, I don't want to say career, because if there's children, it's mean in their
But another two ideas, I like them. They're apt for the given statement. Like obviously they will add more. They will make students learn responsibility and
yes,
add more value to their knowledge, gaining knowledge, right?
to the gaining knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like that. Suppose I have these two ideas in my mind before I started writing essay, and I planned on essay, and I got these two ideas. And now what happened when I'll be start writing this main body paragraph one? My first sentence need to be a topic sentence, and how it can be a topic sentence when I'll be explaining why this is happening, like why if a person become more responsible. So I'll be writing here the maybe you just use a discourse marker if you want to use, but yeah, it's not like it's not important, it's like 5 to 6 discourse markers you have to use. Maybe you can use in between of the paragraphs, and if you do not know discourse markers, I'll let you know. while we are conducting this session. So first sentence, you will be just writing up the first idea here in the topic sentence, maybe with the benefit of that. And your line needs to be really clear. Okay, this is in favor of, and this whole paragraph is going to be in favor of the uh, added value as per we add these subject as the important part of the curriculum, or should it needs to be there as an important part of the curriculum. So the whole essay will be revolving around it. So topic sentence need to be like that, introductory sentence. Like this is what I'm going to describe in the whole paragraph. Now if I just say, okay, it makes the students the more responsible adults, right? So now I have written this here, suppose. Now I will be explaining that. How, why, how, that means how he will be becoming more responsible, how it will add value to his her knowledge, right? So I'll be now explaining that with supporting sentences. Maybe I'm writing 2 sentences here in the explain topic sentence. Maybe I'm writing 3 sentences to explain that idea of mine, right? So one main idea in one paragraph, and after that I'm just supporting that idea with explanation, right? An explanation is like where I'm just explaining, okay, why that person becomes more responsible adults, because he will learn the life from the closure view, whatever ideas, whatever lines you can frame out there. And he must be aware of the hardships of the life, right? So such things will be there. Definitely that's how that person gonna be become a more responsible person, and that's how he will learn the real life, right? The real hardships of the life, and how to cooperate with people, and how to help others, most importantly. So these are the things, yeah. So I'll be writing, explaining that. Maybe I have given in 2 sentences, that's it. And after that add an example. Now example part, why I'm explaining this again and again, example part is important. You must write an example, but at the same time just pick something relevant also. Just don't say he, she, I. So first person, second person examples are not to be are not allowed here, you can say simply. So you have to say something which is generalized, which can relate to everyone. That examples you can pick. And if you have something from the news, something from any magazine you read, an example like that, simply you can put it here. But just keep this in mind, it needs to be the tone of it need to be really formal. And if you don't have anything in your mind, then just frame one, then just imagine one. But at the same time always keep this in mind, it need to be general, it need to be relating to everyone, right? So now the main body paragraph 2, again the second idea, maybe whatever you have written on the planning sheet, that idea you're going to write in the first sentence of that, explaining that further with the supporting details. And then if you here if you have an example, then add that, because it will give length to your essay, and definitely it will give more authority to the idea you are explaining in this paragraph. But if you do not have any example here, you can skip it here, right? But it is recommended to write an example, because examples always give more authority to your idea. So whatever idea you will be explaining here, it will give it more authority, right? And it is needed, but still it's not must case here. But definitely if you know something relevant, you can quote up there, then do that. If not, then simply maybe you should you may write one more idea, right? And then after explain that idea in further sentence. Never do this thing. Suppose I have 3 ideas with me, right? Main ideas, right? One I explained here with the everything and example. Second I explained here, right? But I don't have an example now, so I'm writing the third idea here. So what I'm doing, I am writing the idea and I'm closing the paragraph, because I feel the words are sufficient here. So now this is the case where you will be losing marks, right? If you are writing an idea, you should not, and you could not, you must not leave it without explaining that. Because if you are writing anything, any new idea, you have to explain that in supporting sentence. Or maybe you are just doing that complex sentence, So simply writing that, putting comma, using connector words, you are just writing in one go. But you have to explain any idea you are writing out there. You cannot write something and leave it. You cannot do that. Examiners deduct marks for such things, right? Then come conclusion. It needs to be a summary and your opinion, right? So I have talked about that thing here in two paragraphs, and now I'm just restating the same opinion of mine, but with changed vocabulary, but with changed word order maybe, but with changed words maybe, keeping the meaning same. Next type is advantage and disadvantage. So this is like computers. They are very common subject for this essay type, and there will be many other topics as well. We simply put in Google advantage disadvantage essays. So there come a long list of essays. You can read the topics to make yourself familiar, which is very important. If I am appearing for the IELTS exam, because if I am familiar with a different topic, definitely I'll be having good ideas to explain in those essays, good examples to give authority to my ideas. So I'll be well prepared. How? Because as I am having more familiarization, that's very important, right? Now typical question words will be: discuss the advantage disadvantage, discuss advantage and disadvantage and give your opinion, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Now if this is the case, that means the question is asking you whether there are more advantages and less disadvantages, and it can be vice versa, more disadvantages, less advantages, right? So these are the typical question words, and this is the exemplary question. This is how your question will look like, essay will look like, and you can see that, you can find it. Okay, this is advantage and disadvantage type of question. It says discuss. It can be like merit, demerits as well, pros, cons as well, right? Discuss the merit and demerits and give your opinion. Suppose this is the question. This is the essay type I'm going to follow, right? I'm writing introduction as paraphrasing the statement, and there will be no thesis sentence in the advantage disadvantage questions. Why? Can anybody tell me why? Tell me why. Why you think there a thesis sentence cannot be written here? Because I feel that mostly students they write thesis sentence in every essay.
Yeah, because here we don't want to agree or disagree. Because the thesis statement will start with I agree with in that way. So is that
Exactly, you are perfectly right. That mean the essay here, the essay is not actually favoring something or disfavoring some subject. He simply quoted up computer and he is asking benefit and drawbacks, right? So that's why I cannot write a thesis sentence here. And if I am writing that, certainly examiner will get that it is like student has just learned it somewhere that you have to write thesis sentence, and you just forcefully inserting that in every type of essay. So you should be very what do we say, you should have that informed knowledge that where I can write the thesis sentence and where I should not write it, so that this is the only way you can tell the examiner that I'm good with the writing skills, right? So here it needs the outline sentence, right? So this essay is going to discuss what this essay will be discussing. Some student right there, I am going to discuss. So I am, it's not that they are asking your opinion, of course, but at the same time, the tone of that sentence then becomes very informal. You get that? When you say I am going to discuss, so it sounds informal. And if I'm saying this essay, this essay will be discussing. So which is more formal? You can realize that, you can feel that tone, right?
This essay.
Yeah, definitely, exactly. So this is what I'm trying to say. Whenever you are framing any sentence in the essay, just look for the tone of that sentence. If the tone, and that's go to your letters as well. If anybody after journal IELTS, so have this thing in mind, your and remember this thing always, that the tone of the sentence you are framing will tell you, it will tell you automatically whether it is sounding informal or it is sounding formal. And as per the IELTS writing is concerned, your sentences need to sound quite formal. No informal sentence is treated nicely here, right? So then comes the main body paragraph 1. The sentence 1 will be stating one advantage. So here you will be talking about straightforwardly one advantage of the computers. First sentence. So it will become an introductory topic sentence for this body paragraph. Then you are explaining that further. Maybe you are explaining that it saves time. That is your prime motto. That you feel like, okay, this is the prime advantage of using computers, right? Now I have written that the computer technology or using computers or having computers for every, I mean, whatever sentence you're framing and you are writing, okay, it saves time. And now just explain that how it's saving time. So there are examples. That mean it doesn't mean that you are quoting example sentence third will be there. Here you will be just expanding that idea of yours. Here you will be explaining that advantage, right? So if you're saving time, like previously for these course we have to spend days, sometime years, months, but computer just do it in a flick of seconds, right? Or in a few minutes. And yes, we can save data. And previously for saving data, we have to, many people have to work together manually, and we have to have large spaces to store that data. Now that can be done with the help of computer, just in what do you say, pea size chip, right? So such things explanation is needed here. And after that, example, right? So example, with computers you will get many examples, because we know that it has, if it comes to saving time, just think of something which consumes a lot of time earlier. Now it's very easy with the help of the computer. Maybe it's a journal routine task, right? But yes, again, maybe it's a journal routine task, maybe it's from my personal life, but I can't write it in first or second person form. I'll be writing in a journalized way, right? So it is like, it sounds universal, it sounds formal, right? Same goes to the body paragraph 2, same pattern, but with the disadvantage, with the demerit, with the cons part. So now this is the demerit of this. Now explain that and add an example, say end result. So it's like sentence fourth will automatically will be coming out from your explanation. It's not that you always stating this sentence. If your explanation is already having that end result, right, it is okay, but it is better to frame it in this way. Like it should have explanation, examples, and then end result. Maybe you are just writing that it proved advantageous for say for food industry, right? Maybe the example I quoted here. So I'm just wrapping up that in a sentence which stating result. So I'll be writing like that. Hence, it is proved immensely beneficial for the food industry. Hence, it proved immensely beneficial for the official, for the this official industry, for the construction industry. So whatever your example is about, you can quote after that a resulting sentence, right? And same goes here. After that, conclusion in these type of the essays. First sentence, summary. Summary is what now? Now I'm just restating what I have already discussed in different words, vocabulary words. And then if the question is asking my opinion, and in this case, the question is asking my opinion, give your opinion, it has it, right? Now I have to write my opinion as well. So for me, maybe I think it is more beneficial, as and the drawbacks can be ignored. For me it's like that, maybe. So you can state your opinion here, right? And you must state your opinion here if question is asking your opinion. Sometimes the question just end up here, discuss the advantage and disadvantage. So it will be have question mark here, no opinion. So in that case, if you are stating your opinion, you are not fulfilling the task achievement thing, right? That case it is not advisable. You should not add opinion, because the question is not asking you. So it's very important what is asked in question, I'm answering that in my essay, not additions, right? That's what examiner actually look, and that's called achieving the format parameter, right? The format parameter, format is like whatever is asked to me, I'm doing that only, I'm not adding any extra information, or I'm not omitting any information from the description, right? Now, I hope these two categories are clear to you guys, right? Any questions so far for these two categories?
Yeah,
Opinion?
question. Tell me,
Exactly.
what does that mean, outline statement?
Okay, so I'll be coming
Yeah.
up with an example.
Yeah,
I'll show you the
example,
example
please.
first, yeah? It will be
Yes,
more clear.
please.
Okay, just let me go to,
Just give me example. Yeah.
yeah, wait a moment.
Yeah, thanks.
I have to
Sure.
go. Mm-hmm.
Also, this outline statement should be paraphrased or from the introduction, or we
Okay,
can
here.
use some words inside.
Okay, you see here on the screen, it says this is an introduction example, how you have to write your introduction as per the given structures. Now, this is the question here. There is a good deal of evidence that increasing car use is contributing to global warming and having other undesirable effects on people's health and well-being, right? Now, this is the essay question, right? I mean, essay statement. Now, how I am paraphrasing this up? This is paraphrase, this is thesis statement, and this is outline statement, right? So maybe they are saying, okay, now I'm just paraphrasing the statement part here. Rising global temperature and human health and fitness issues are often viewed as being caused by the expanding use of automobiles. That you understood, right? I guess. Because it's just a paraphrasing of that with the synonyms and changed word order as well. At the same time, I use two techniques here. Now, thesis statement is like, this essay agrees that. Now, you see what this essay is saying, that there is a good deal of evidence that means it is in a favor of that increasing car on the road is cause of the global warming, and people health is deteriorating due to the pollution maybe emitted by those vehicles, right? So there is a good deal of evidence. This essay is agreeing. Now, this is what I can understand by reading this statement. You getting me? So this will become the thesis statement, that this essay agrees that increasing use of motor vehicle is actually contributing immensely into the expansion of the health issues and the global temperatures, right? Now, outline statement. How I'm going to give outline statement for the essays. Firstly, this essay will discuss the production of greenhouse gases by vehicles. Now, here is the one thing I'm going to discuss in the paragraph. Now, this is actually answering the question directly. Maybe it asking discuss. This is maybe this is an essay which is having just one word afterwards, which says discuss, right? So I'll be writing here. This essay will discuss the production of greenhouse gases by vehicles. And secondly, maybe in the second paragraph now, when I'll be elaborating it further, it will discuss other toxic chemicals released by internal combustion engines, right? So this is how the outline statements you are framing. So whatever you're going to discuss in your essay, you have to give an overview of those things in the outline statement.
Okay, and then body paragraph, etc., etc.
Exactly. Then body paragraph 1, 2, and then conclusion. So if
you need to have very rich vocabulary.
Rich vocabulary, yeah, it is needed, but yeah, again, if you whatever you are saying, maybe that's with the simple vocabulary as well. But yes, it is conveying the message clearly. Whatever you want to say there by your written skills, it is conveying that message clearly. Till you will be getting good marks. But again, vocabulary is like what? How vocabulary is says, it's not that I'm using fancy high-fi words every time I'm getting good marks in the vocabulary. No, it's a myth, basically. How you get marks for the vocabulary? When basically, okay, when basically you do not repeat any word in your essay, right? So if you follow that paraphrasing technique,
I'm taking a screenshot.
yeah, paraphrasing technique perfectly, only it will improve your vocabulary score automatically. That means if I'm writing one time, I'm writing increase. second time I writing escalated, third time I writing enhancing, right? So it's like I am showing my lexical resources. That's what, and
Mhm.
these are very simple words. These are not very difficult hi-fi words, right? So they are not
Mhm.
after difficult hi-fi words. It's just that you do not have to repeat the words again and again in your writing.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
don't
you
have
can
to
simply
repeat.
explore the lexical resources in your essay and you can score good marks, right?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, now the
Thank
third
you.
category, it says discuss both views question. That means when it's having some people think this, other think like that. Now discuss both views and give your opinion, right? And maybe sometime it's like discuss both points of view and that, there is nothing further. Like and give your opinion, there is nothing like that, right?
Mhm. Some
So
people say
and the exemplary
different,
question will be
not leading negative consequence. And then you have to explain what that mean, why these people say it's positive trend, and you have to
yes,
explain
bilkul.
why
I
the
mean,
people say
exactly.
it's
You have to
negative.
say, you have to explain. Then
Mhm.
why this? Why people believe this? Why people believe that? Right?
Mhm.
So
And then
then,
I
and
give my
in
opinion.
the last, uh, and then I'll tell you what you have to do. Actually, you see the
Sorry,
structure here.
give my opinion about the topic, or give my opinion why the people think in this way or that way.
Which sentence? Topic?
Yeah, no, that
Uh-huh.
slide before it was written discuss both views and give your opinion. My opinion, it is about the side of how I think, if it's positive or negative trend, or my,
Exactly. Both sides. Both sides.
okay, okay, got you.
Both sides.
Mhm.
Now here. Now normally student don't write this. Normally student just miss on this third sentence here, right? What they usually do, they just write one paragraph of the opinion of the people, why agree, and then goes to the another paragraph of the people of the opinion disagree, and then conclusion they giving their own opinion. Now I'm not saying that's bad, that's also a good way, but I would recommend that you should follow this structure, the given structure here. It will fetch you more marks. The sentence one here, paraphrasing the question or stating both viewpoints, I mean paraphrase the statement. This is what we do in the sentence one. Sentence two, thesis statement, right? So this gonna be a lengthy one. The sentence three, outline sentence. Now this essay will discuss this viewpoint and that viewpoint, and maybe idea related to both the viewpoint and which is the predominant one. I'm writing those two ideas here. Then main body paragraph. Out of those one, I'm stating one viewpoint here, right? One which is in the favor of, and I will discuss that viewpoint here. And after that, I will reason why I am also agree or disagree with this viewpoint, right? Maybe I'm writing as per the question. I'm writing, okay, people say using computer is a positive trend, right? So maybe I'm discussing this, and now I believe into the same thing. I think, yeah, this is a positive trend. So now I'll be adding details of my opinion. Like as per my opinion, definitely don't write I believe. It will again sound informal. The tone will be informal. So better as per my opinion, right? So it will be better discourse marker you can use, linking word you can use to show the formality of the language, right? And then example, give example to support your view. So whatever you are doing, obviously computers, then support your view, right? And maybe say it's something stopping deforestation kind of thing, or it's related to the youth crime, something it's related to the sports events worldwide, something related to that. According to that you can choose your examples. And you know how you can gather more examples, just by randomly reading essays. When I just pick up, okay, I write there, this is what I did, yeah, sports related essays. So what happened, essays will come, I just give them a quick reading, and definitely there is an example will be there, definitely. Just now pick that example, I just write that on in my notebook. Now what happened? I'm just gathering so many example of different contexts. Now what happened? Any essay comes with the sports. Maybe I just have in my mind right now, out of those 100 written, I have only 5 with me. I just can only recall 5 examples. But you see, with a little bit of alteration, you will be able to fit that example in the essay. So that's the beauty of learning, right? That's the beauty of going through the just randomly going through the essay and taking out the important ideas or examples from that. No, you don't have to follow the same structure, and that's not what you can even do here, because there is nothing to be like you can learn it and you can write it in the same way. And even if you're doing that, these examiners, they are actually well trained people and well experienced people. They can easily get that this is something mugged up thing, this is something, it's like learned, and just it like the student had just written it over here. They can easily get that, right? So it's better to just pick out the ideas, pick out the examples from the exemplary essays we are reading through the internet, make a note of them, and then use them accordingly. Little bit of alteration, they require little bit of alteration, and they can be fit in any kind of that subject related essay, right? So last paragraph now, summary definitely, and here you will also be stating which one is better out of this and that, which one is better or more important. Yeah, so it will restate your opinion as well. It will restate the people's opinion within the summary part. It will restate the your opinion as well in the second sentence part. This is us, Sika. Then comes the problem and solution questions. So the typical question words for the problem and solution essay is problem and solution, cause and solution. And that means these are the words which will be there in the question part. You can see here, students are becoming more and more reliant on computer. What are some of the problems associated with reliance on computers, and what are some of the possible solutions, right? So this is the common essays which will be about problem and solution types, right? Now this is the structure you're going to follow. Again, in structure of this essay type, you see there is no thesis sentence here. Paraphrase the statement, outline the sentence. This essay will discuss. Body paragraph 1, talk about one problem, right? Explain that problem, result of that problem, tell that, and add example, right? And mostly these essay gonna be related to environmental issues, computer technology, the expanding use of computer technology, because academic nature essay is gonna be like that, right? And yeah, the violent crimes, and asking for the reasons of that why the violent crimes are on rise, right? So they'll be asking reasons for that, and also they'll be asking you to write the possible solutions for that. So like such topics are very common, right? So you should better pick out some examples, right? Pick up some solutions and pick up some ideas. So the question, the statement, it can be in any way, it can be in any in any way it can be written, but the idea, the example, you can use the same example you can use here, the same idea you can use here. Again, you are framing it in your own sentence, so it will not harm anything, right? It is not like you have mugged up or something like that. It is like you just learned that, you just collected knowledge for that, and now you are using it over here. In here, in paragraph 2, state solution, explain that solution and give example. Now you see, the example here is also needed, example here is also needed, but here the result is missing, here the result is said to be done, right? Conclusion of the problem solution, it is like very problematic when it comes to this essay, because students, they normally ask what to write in conclusion here. So it's like normal, you have to have write summary, you must write summary of every essay, whatever type it is, and except that, follow the question. Here you can add a recommendation or prediction that for that regarding space, it's a violent crime, so maybe you have some recommendation for that, that this can be done, right? So maybe you should write that that parents, and it gonna be, overall thing whatever you have discussed in the solution part, maybe like parents and the uh, parents and the government. Yeah, parents and the governments are the two responsible people, two responsible bodies which should look after the children, so that violent crime doesn't do not rise in the adolescence or something like that, because it's a very common topic in the IELTS essays, right? And then comes the last category, which is two-part question. Any student who already given exam, have you got such essay, two-part question? Anybody get that?
No,
No?
no, don't think, I don't remember actually.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, one message here. Who said that? No. All right. Fine. Okay, so this is like rare case, this essay type, because it is more into the journal essays, but for the academic student, it is rare case. But if it's there, definitely it can be there. So you should know how to write it. So there will be normally a statement, and they will then ask you to answer two separate questions. Two separate questions. It should need to be written like that, right? So what you doing here? As most people spend a major part of their adult life at work, job satisfaction is an important element of individual well-being. What factors contribute to job satisfaction? How realistic is the expectation of job satisfaction for all workers? Right? Now, these two questions are asked to you. This is a journal statement given to you. So, this is how your question will look like for two-part question essay type. And the structure, here it is. Introduction sentence first, paraphrase the statement, then outline a statement is need to be like you need to discuss both questions. That means you are saying this essay will be discussing factors necessary for the job satisfaction, and also it will be talking about how realistic or the realisticity of the this viewpoint, whatever is the question about, you have to discuss that. And maybe you can write the one major idea, one major point here for both of the things, okay? And then you are explaining that in further in the body paragraphs. Now answer one question directly. First question, maybe a job satisfaction. There are different things like the any savings done by your employer for you in the form of provident funds or different kind of funds, right? Or maybe any compensations given to you, the salary of course, and your entitlements, different kind of entitlements while being on while in working, and after job retirement plans if there are any. So it's like everything, there are many things you can write here. So just maybe you are writing two here, and then you are explaining that further. Obviously, if those are two or three, you can explain more and then add an example. So this is like definitely you know that. Now you can pick any journal example in that year when government initiated this scheme for the working class. So the productivity doubles, right? Now such example you can quote here. Simple. It's an imaginary example, but somehow it would have happened sometime. Now it is not like that. The example, whatever I'm quoting here, if I'm framing that, avoid any names in that, right? Avoid any names in that and just simply quote it in the formal sentence. That's it. If you know names, if you know this is something real I heard in the news or I read in some book, magazine or article, so yeah, then you can use the name. Maybe some country followed that pattern, and when people were much satisfied from their job, they just the productivity for that certain period in that country doubled, tripled, whatever you have read or listened somewhere in through the news, you can quote it here, right? And then main body paragraph 2, then answer the second question, realisticity of that desire, and then explain that why. Definitely mentally, physically, and there are many aspects of being satisfied with the job which are very necessary to be fulfilled, because we spend major part of our life on our jobs, and if we are not happy there, definitely it will affect us mentally as well, it will affect us physically as well. and it will affect us in our personal relationship as well. So there are many things it will contributes to. Then add an example. Now definitely we can quote a better example here, best example here. Then conclusion, summarize that. Whatever you have discussed in those two paragraphs, just summarize that, right? Now these are the 5 types. Okay. So can I get the glass of water? Just give me 2 minutes, yeah? Okay. Okay. So the next technique is to talk about gathering ideas. Now these are the different structures you are framing for the essays. So now you are aware whatever structure, whatever type of the essay will be there, you can easily relate it to one of the type and you can follow that structure. So if you following that structure, so you will be adding too many things which are required by the examiner. I'll show you the marking criteria as well. Then how we are gathering the ideas for the essay. First, I already discussed this thing, common topic familiarization. This is very important, very important. Why? Because sometimes we just have an essay in front of us, a statement which we are completely alien to. We do not know anything about that. Like this could be the case, right? Because there are many essay, even we don't know that this thing also exists. Because maybe I am from the country, I'm from the country which is developing, and that's not the case in my country. That doesn't happen there, right? Or maybe I'm a person from the developed world, and that essay is relating to the developing country, so I don't have any idea, okay, how it can be there, right? So it's very important to have the common topic familiarizations, because that's how we are collecting ideas. I already told you, just pick up the common topics, right? Write 10, like as I have written underline here, 10 common topics of IELTS essay. They will give you education, sports, crimes, youth crimes, and technology, right? So such things they will give you, and just pick any, type it there, related essays. It will give you long list of essays. Now just read how much you can read, maybe 10, 15 essay at a time. Read them, gather ideas, make a note of those ideas, make note of the examples, which is important. Ideas also, examples also. So that's how you are building up your treasure of the ideas for different kind of essays. And then another thing you can do, you can read newspapers, you can listen to the news, because those newspaper and news readers, they're gonna give you real time examples, right? So it is like, whatever, if you're feeling okay, this is something related to the education industry, so simply write it down under the tag of education. So I know that if some essay I'm getting related to this thing, I can quote this as an example. And believe me, if you are actually putting up the relevant examples, the examples only can boost up your half a band score up. So this is the weightage of the examples, right? And then 5 question method is the another thing. 5 question method is just simply ask yourself 5 questions, WH questions, and think logically. Try to connect every question to other question logically. So how? Like, if this is the essay, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between high school and starting university studies. Discuss the advantage and disadvantage for young people who decide to do this. Now, this is advantage disadvantage category of the question, and there is no opinion asked of me. They just simply said discuss the advantage of disadvantage of the above said statement situation. And this is a thing which is of the first world people. That means maybe if I'm underdeveloped country person or a person for a developing world, I'm not aware that this is also happening. So this is why I need familiarization of the topics. And now I am familiarized, I have to collect the ideas. So how am I doing that? I'm asking question, WH question. Who? Young people. What they have to do? Take a break for university studies when they finish their high school, right? Now what they can do, they can work or they can travel, right? So it's like how they can do that, how they can work or travel, right? How, if they want to work, they have to work in different local businesses, different local MNCs, local businesses or MNCs. And if that person wants to travel, how he will be traveling? He need money for that. He must have plan of the countries which are affordable to visit, and uh, such things he needs, right? Now where he can go, like how he can do, like collecting money and taking permission from the university. Maybe some university do not take students who just take 1 hour 1 year break, because they feel like we want some students, we want students with a continuous their study. So he might be interested in one particular university, so he has to take the permission from the university. Definitely sometimes parents, if you are a person, you are a student living with your parents, you have to take their permission. And sometimes it's like you have to take financial help from them, so you have to ask to them. So these are the things where you can go. And where I can go, like to the tourist destination, I can go local businesses and MNCs, like MNCs, multinational companies, which are of my interest. Okay, whose mic is turned on? Okay guys, you do not have to turn the video and the mic on, right? You can turn the mic on when you want to ask a question. Till the time, kindly keep it mute, or I have to actually do that. Just give me a moment. Okay, fine. Right, so this method works logically. So just have some uh, topic in your mind of the essay in front of you. Logically ask question: who, what, why, where, and how. Simply you will be having lot of written on the paper in front of you, and then you can easily gather the important things or the predominant ideas, and you can start writing, right? So this actually works a lot. This actually give a habit to your brain to think logically as per the given question, as per the given essays, right? So this works. Topic familiarization and listening to news or reading newspaper, that also one thing which will help you. So this is how we just within few seconds, few minutes, we gathered so many of ideas for the given essay. Why, who, and what do we know, right, from the statement. Now why, where, and how. Just like why, gain experience, to experience life in different countries, to understand different cultures, to make money from before going to university. uh, the students are lazy, and to be mature, they have to experience different set of life. Now where, destination, developing countries, local businesses, internship in big companies, say MNCs, right? How, saving money, permission from parents, university, applying for the internship job, that's how you're getting job, right? Traveling to inexpensive countries. So it's like now, with the help of these things written, I can simply write a well framed essay, right? Okay, moving onwards. Now, paraphrasing is the thing which is much required in the IELTS. Say it a listening module, say it a speaking, reading, any module, right? It is much required, because if it's listening and reading, as we already practiced in this class, reading, the questions are answers are always paraphrased, right? In listening, answers are always paraphrased. Same goes to your writing. If you are repeating words, you are not doing paraphrasing, you are not getting marks for the lexical resources, right? So this is inseparable part. This is a simple example of using synonyms and doing paraphrasing. My car needs petrol, right? And now I have to use the different word which we call synonyms. My vehicle, car become vehicle, vehicle needs, requires petrol, fuel. Now my vehicles require fuel. Violent crime is on the rise among teenagers. Now violent offenses are rising, on the rise, are rising among teenagers, young people. So maybe one few of I know and few I just change the verb tense I change, and that's given it a new lease of life, right? So this is the next changed pattern. I'll tell you the second synonyms. That is simple. If I know the different word for that particular word, a synonym to that, I simply write that, right? That's the way of synonym. That's the technique of using synonym. Now this is, you have to understand, changing the word order. Question says, as languages such as this and English become more widely used, there is a fear that minority languages may die out. Now this is the question, and I have to paraphrase the statement in the introduction. First line is paraphrase statement, and if you are not using the different words, you are not paraphrasing that, examiner will start giving you less scores for the vocabulary there and then only, right? Now, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out as languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used, right? Now, this is changed word order. Now, which is what the thing they discussed in the later part of the sentence, I bring it to the former area, and which is they said in the former area, I just drag it to the later part. Now, this is clever, but again, if you know synonym, that will be more better. But again, if you do not know synonym, then don't write the same sentence, just then change the word order, later to former, former to later, right? And then the third one, now I am using the synonym as well, and I'm changing the word order as well. How I'm doing that? Now there is a dismay that instead of writing there is a fear that, I have written there is a dismay that. What? Many lesser used languages. Here it says many minority languages. I said many lesser used languages, right? May die out. And I write may pass away. Such as languages, I cannot change the noun. Definitely, I have to write the same. And then become more widely used. And it says become more widely, more broadly spoken. So I just change the word order as well. And the few words I know synonym of, I just change those words as well. So this is the best combination, because sometimes we do not know the exactly different words for each and every word in the sentence. So that's how you can then change that statement. That means you that it's not changing. That how you can paraphrase that statement, right? Okay, this is already we discussed. This is an example of the introduction. As I say, paraphrasing, thesis, and outline. So by saying that, this is what I mean, right? We already discussed that. Now, this is how your introductions need to look like, sound like, quite formal, explaining everything, talking about the essay statement, talking about your understanding in the thesis, and talking about what you are now going to explain about it, right? Now, thesis statement, normally students misrepresent that with outline statement. That mean in this thesis, they feel like if I'm writing this essay will discuss, so they take it as thesis, but thesis statement is it is like the way you feel about the whole issue in the one sentence. That is called thesis, right? The way you feel about the whole issue in one sentence, that means whole issue is like the statement in front of you. Now, what is my understanding? That this statement is agreeing, right? So this will tell examiner, okay, now that candidate understood the question. Now the essay gonna be more clearer, more coherent, right? So that's why it's important to include where it can be written. The three categories it can be written. Now this is the task achievement. As I normally saying, task achievement is very important. So by saying that, what I mean, By adding example, relevant example, what I mean. By changing vocabulary and explaining your ideas fully, what I mean. So this is what I mean here. If I am a student aspiring for band 7 and I'm somewhere around band 6, I should read this. Now read this out. You will see what is the difference between the two description. If you are standing at band 6, it says addresses all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others, right? So it's like you have addressed the all parts in the task, like question part, right? This is what they are talking. That's why it says task achievement relates to the question part. But some parts are more fully covered than other. That means maybe I just described the opinion of a one people, two people perfectly. But when it's come to my opinion, what is my opinion? I didn't explain it clearly, logically, and coherently, right? So that's how I just got lesser of marks, right? And then presents a relevant position, although the conclusions may become unclear or repetitive. Now, I see why it's important. How important it's to do not repeat the words in the conclusion. See here, it says that the position, like if I'm saying I'm agree, okay, I present a very relevant position, although, right? But the conclusion part, when it comes to that, I repeated the same words, or maybe I just, I'm not very clear. I couldn't say that where I am standing for the given essay, whether I am agree, whether I haven't restated my opinion there, maybe, right? So that's why maybe that's what which will make me lose marks, right? Presents relevant main ideas, right? But some may be inadequately developed or unclear, right? Now your idea description is relevant, but it's like that. Maybe you explain three ideas in the whole essay. Now two are very clear, two are sufficiently developed. That means sufficiently described with the supporting sentences. But one idea, it is like you write it there and you left without it without any explanation. So that will be like counting here, because examiner wants to describe every idea you are writing out there, right? Now band 7 says addresses all parts of the task. That means you, it's not like that, that the question part, from the question part you are missing on some area, you are covering more area, like advantage part you are saying too many things, but when it's come to disadvantage, so there is an imbalance. If there is no imbalance, everything is balanced as per the question, it's like you have addressed all parts of the task appropriately. So if I am writing more in advantage as compared to disadvantage, there is an imbalance, that one point is more covered than the other, it comes into band 6 then, right? Now presents a clear position throughout the response presents. Now it's like saying I am presenting a clear position throughout the response, and I have already extended my opinions and supported those opinions perfectly with the details, right? But there may be a tendency to overgeneralize. You see here, if suppose I am writing just in one paragraph, what I said, you just have to pick one idea or two idea, that's it. And maybe you are just missing on example and you feel like I'll write the third idea, fourth idea, fifth idea as well. So what happened there, it is like overgeneralizing. So the more you overgeneralize, the irrelevancy comes into picture. That means your idea, the relevancy of the ideas to the given subject, it will start reducing as I am writing more ideas. Because when you are picking up any subject, one, two, or three things, the three things, they will be predominantly explaining that subject. But after that, if I'm still writing on more ideas, more discussion, I'm going. It obviously I'll be like overgeneralizing. I'm just, 4 5 sentences, I'm just explaining that one idea, so it's called overgeneralizing. Just, so it need to be really balanced essay. Whatever I'm describing, I need to describe as well, but at the same time I should not go beyond the generalized term, right? And band 8 sufficiently addresses all parts of the task, presents a well developed essay, right? Well developed structure, you can say. Response to the question with relevant, extended, and supported idea. You see, This is why it is important to add relevant examples, because they can actually boost up your score to point half a band, right? So this is the you can see clearly see the different description related to as per the band you are achieving right now, maybe. So it's like, maybe you see, keep your task with this description, keep this task with the description, and see if where you are lacking behind, which thing you are doing, which you should avoid, right, to score more, right? And then order of the supporting paragraphs, right? So we talked about the order of the introduction. Right now, this is about the supporting paragraph. So the topic sentence, as I told you already, every paragraph going to have the first sentence, topic sentence. So what is that? Each paragraph should have one main idea. I said you that one main idea, and after that, the another two or three things. It's like an explanation of that idea only, because it is like that. If I write, okay, so it will make people more responsible. So next idea in the draft work, I'm doing that. I'm writing more responsible. Then I'm writing, okay, so add value to knowledge, responsible adults, understands life. Now it all comes falls under the same category, that is responsible adult, right? So the major tree remains one only, and the branches are many. So this is what we are doing. Major tree in topic sentence, and branches are in supporting details, right? So this will actually make your essay more clearer and easier to read. So it has that flow, logic, well developed essay. This is what we want for, this is what examiner want for the band 8, right? So explaining that ideas are very important. I'm telling again and again, because I usually when I was taking attend classes for the students write ideas, but what happened, they don't bother to explain them. But examiners do not like this thing. If you are not explaining your idea, that means maybe you do not know, you just randomly wrote that up, because it's like that examiner is going to judge you only, only on the response you are giving, you only on the answer of the written essay you are submitting. He's not meeting you personally and looking for, okay, how efficient you are in written skills. No, it's only your essay, and your task one is saying about your writing skills here. So you have to actually explore them, every nook and corner of your skills there in the essay. And then supporting examples. So I told you already how you can pick up the examples, how you can make a memory for the examples, right? And another thing, like this is how the you are fitting it in the paragraph, body paragraph. Like the first is topic. Raising fuel prices is the best option because it would lower demand. This is because this is topic. Now this is explanation. This is because the laws of economics dictate that the higher the price of a commodity, the lower the consumption of that product, and this will lead to less people using vehicle, resulting sentence, right? For instance, when the price of fuel skyrocketed during the oil crisis in the 1970s, there was a huge reduction in the amount of cars on the road. Now we know that if the amount of the petrol will be higher, definitely it will lower down the demand of the cars, right, on the road, right? So what it is like, definitely I can, if I know something logically from the news, from the article, or from any source which is authentic, right? So I can quote it like they have done. And if I don't know, suppose I do not know the year when it happened, but I know this has happened, right? Or maybe I'm just framing up, I've just read a few examples like that, so I'm thinking I can frame this up, right? So now what you can do, simply ignore this 1970s. Just write, when the price of the fuel sky rocketed during the oil crisis, comma, there was a huge reduction in the amount of cars on the road. Now the oil crisis is a thing which actually which have has happened, which has happened in the past, maybe, I don't know which years, 1980, 70, 90, but I know it had happened because I just had that that obviously that journal knowledge, right? So I can frame that example as well and miss on that noun part stating a year or name. so that it doesn't sound like it is not that even I'm not exactly comparing to the relevant figures, names, etc. So just I am just making it journal, so it will serve the purpose, right? Okay, so then coming to the conclusion. Now, conclusion, some student, they just frame the whole essay perfect. They just write the good introduction, the body part, the examples, the description. When it comes to conclusion, they give the least weightage to the example. They feel like, okay, this is only one sentence, quickly write it and submit your sheet. This is what our, this is what our opinion about the conclusion. We don't find it very useful here. We don't find it, okay, this is the last thing, only one or two sentences, who's gonna give more weightage to it, but it has the weightage as equals to the introduction. So you should keep this thing in mind by writing a conclusion, right? So conclusions, you are never writing any new idea in the conclusion part, right? So whatever you have, any idea, description, save that for the body paragraph 1 or 2. You are not writing in the conclusion any new idea. You cannot write, okay, this can also be do to reduce the problem. You can't do that, right? It's like whatever you have already discussed, you're gonna restate that. That's it. And then make sure you answer the question. That mean if the question asking, give your opinion, okay, so that's what it means, right? So it's like summary plus give your opinion. So it's like conclusion need to have an opinion of yours, right? And vary your language. So as you are restating the same ideas, it's like that you cannot use the same words. You have to paraphrase them, right? You have to show the examiner the wide range of vocabulary. And how you are doing that? By paraphrasing. And by paraphrasing, how you doing that? By synonym, by changing word order, by mixing both techniques, right? Then try to include everything. Don't try to include everything, because it's just a summary, it's not the description. Whatever you want to describe that in paragraph 1 or 2 body paragraph. Now this is not the place, it's just a summary, right? And you cannot you must not miss on the conclusion. Even if you left with only 1 minute, don't give proofreading now in that time. Simply write the conclusion, right? Quickly write the one, because just not having conclusion can take you from 7 to 6, from 6 to 5. So this is what it means, yeah, writing conclusion, and that's too effectively. And otherwise 2 sentences are enough for that. Okay, now just only write in conclusion and to conclude. This is what I am recommending, because I feel like these are the most formal words to be written as discourse marker for the conclusion paragraph. And we are starting it, we just usually have to write something linking words, some discourse markers. So I'm just writing these two, in conclusion and to conclude, right? And in journal, it's like it's generally what we think about it. And obviously the conclusion here is not journally thinking, it's about whatever I have already discussed with a lot of explanation, with lot of example. That's what I'm saying. I cannot have a journal view now. It's like very informed view of that, informed summary of that, right? So it is not to be used, not nutshell, because it sounds informal, not finally, right? So it's like more apt and formal words are in conclusion and to conclude. And always don't forget to put a comma after that. Punctuation is as important, right, as your spellings are. So now this is how your conclusion need to look like. Suppose this is the introduction, so this is how your conclusion will be. Why I am taking example of the introduction? Because you remember that in the outline sentence what we did. In the outline sentence, we actually write what we are going to discuss in the both body paragraph. So it is like introduction have everything from intro till body paragraph. So I have to just restate the introduction in the conclusion and adding up my opinion, of course. So now it says, in conclusion, this essay supports the idea. Now it is argued that in the introduction, but now I have already discussed everything and it is comes out as supporting. So this essay supports the idea that teenagers out to be taught functional subject. Here students, teenagers should be taught, out to be taught real life skills, functional subjects. And like how to look after money, here like financial planning, right? Because why? It helps them in adulthood, like it how everyday competency benefit people, how later in life benefit people later in life. It helps them in adulthood. So these are different words but saying same thing. And a lack of education related to these topics can have serious consequences, and danger of not being taught how to manage money at an early age. So it's like dangers of not being taught how to manage money at an early age. So this is a paraphrase of lack of education related to these topics can have serious consequences. So it's like same thing but with different words, right? So this is how your introduction conclusion needs to be. So you just take the help of the introductions, try to paraphrase the things from the introduction, and with the synonyms majority of the time, right? Okay, so that's all, right? Till intro till conclusion. Don't restate your opinion. You have to restate your opinion, so you have to include your main supporting points in the conclusion. But in the conclusion you cannot copy the same words. You have to use synonyms, you have to paraphrase the language, right? So this is what I changed in the example shown. And lastly, if you are not achieving the word limit, that is 250, then what you can do, but if you following these structures you will be easily meeting up the word limit, which is 250, and every word is countable. It's like if you even writing an article, right? So it is also counted as one word. If you're writing is, it is counted as one word. If you're writing in, as, and, the, so it, every word is, it is counted as one word. So there is no chance of not reaching to the set remarks. But yes, still if you feel like okay, this is 250 word, 235 word, how I can extend down now? I just done the whole essay. Now I cannot go back, Rab, my time doesn't allow me, right? So what you can do there, you can simply add a prediction of whatever the subject is. And this is kind of a last thing you need to do, because obviously the essay is not demanding that. But yes, again, reaching to word limit is really important. I cannot be beyond 250. I cannot go you know too much after 250. It's like if it's 250, so try to wind up your essay within 260 words. Within 260 words, don't exceed that, because that's acceptable. Because sometimes I'm framing a sentence and it needs 3 or 4 words more than 250, so it will go to 254, 5, 6, 7. It's okay. 5, 6 word are okay going up. But if I'm at 244 word, that is not acceptable, right? So this will harm your format of the writing, which requires you to write 250 words exactly, right? So this is optional. It allows you to write something at the end of the essay if you are worried about not making it to 250 words. And what is the best way to reach to the what is the best way to not count the word? Because it will definitely it will waste your time when you are doing it, because that time you can utilize for the proofreading. Yeah. So what you can do, you can simply Google the answer sheets for the writing task 2 IELTS, download them, take a printout of them in bulk, right? Maybe take out 20-25 sheets at one time. And then whenever you are practicing your essay, practice there on the answer sheet. Count your words, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times count your word, and see what is the average of the sheet of the lines you are filling up in that answer sheet. And when you are done with 250 words, it's like for me, maybe this is the sheet, like this is the sheet. Okay, for me, I'm writing this whole page, right? I'm writing this whole page, and when I'm going to the third page in the half, it's 250 words for me. Like for me, it's like that, right? Same way, you have to see how much lines or how much area of the sheet you are covering, and it's 250 words for you. Because what happened, the layout is different for different people. Because for me it will be say 5 words in a line. For you it will be 6 words in a line. And for people, some they write so far away, the words they are lying far away in the sentence. So it's like it's only 4 words for them. So it depends how much words you are writing in one line. So layout will be different for every student. So it is the best way you can judge your word count. And you do not have to count those words in your final essay, because ultimately, this is the length I am writing. It's 200 words now. Now I have to write the conclusion. I left with only 50 words, right? So it's like that. So any questions, guys? Let you unmute. Okay. Any questions so far?
I have one question.
Yes, please.
If you don't know the synonyms, can I make a word changing of wording, or what I do if synonym not coming to my brain?
Yeah, so for that, if you do not know the synonym, you have to change the word order. Maybe you are writing the price of the fuel is the price of the fuel has increased. Now this is the sentence, right? And you do not know the exact synonym of that. So what you can do, maybe you can change the word order. There is a increase in the price of the fuel. This is called active to passive. Simple words, right? We say that maybe you have learned that grammar lesson. Active voice change to passive voice. So if I say, okay, you have to do my homework, right?
Okay.
So the passive voice will come as like, my homework need to be done by you. So this
Okay.
is passive form of that. Yeah, it's like this is
Smart.
the beauty of the English language grammar, right? So this is the technique you can use in the essays when you are not finding any synonym. So it's like from the active voice, change it to passive voice, or if it's written like that, the example we just did here, the increase in the what we say, the increase in the pollution affects the human health adversely, right? Now I do not know words here, any synonyms. What I'm doing here, I'm changing it to passive. How? Human health is adversely affected by the increase in the pollution. So it is like,
but you see increasing in pollution, you are repeating.
So that's what I'm saying. If I don't know synonym of that, so that I can only change the word order. Now there is no other, what I say, magic word can appear which can replace that. Definitely not.
I mean the best case scenario is put synonyms, but I think
that's the best case scenario, and another best case scenario is use synonym for some, or also make it from active to passive. Like in this case, human health is badly affected by the enhanced level of the pollution. Now you see, enhanced, increase, adversely, badly, right? Human health, it's like a term, we cannot change that. Human health is human health, right? So some words we cannot change, right? If we do not know exact synonyms, so keep it there only. But again, passive voice and some synonyms, add something. That will be the best case scenario, because obviously it's not. I don't say it's not possible. It is possible, but majority of the time we do not have synonyms for each and every word. That's an honest opinion, right?
Yes.
So the best thing is, change the active to passive and add few of the synonyms which you know, and that's good to go.
Thank you.
All right, Sheetal, what question do you have?
Essay structure, like in body paragraph 1 we put 4 step, like, and body paragraph 2 we put only 3 steps, like we skipping the results. Why?
Which paragraph?
Paragraph 2 in problem and solution we not
but because problem, we can tell that this is happening because of this problem, that is the resulting thing.
Okay.
So in solution I cannot tell, because that's a proposed solution. It is not done yet. How can I tell solution? I am writing the prediction. That's going to be result of that in the conclusion. You see the structure? It will say conclusion with the prediction, recommendation, right? So that's going to be the future thing of that solution. And I am just proposing that. I cannot quote the result there. So that's like definitely again, some student add results because they feel like I'm lacking in word limit. So you have to little, but I would recommend, if you're doing this proper structures, you're actually writing the way it need to be. So try to polish your language, vocabulary. So it comes out really good. The scores also.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Any questions, guys? Please.
Yes, in advantages and disadvantages essay time,
Mhm.
there's one type of word is like whether advantages outweigh disadvantages, isn't it? Yeah. So in that case, do we have to write more advantages than disadvantages, or it's just same like one advantage?
So it's like that. The question is actually asking you, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, right? It is not asking your opinion. Definitely, it won't have that part in the question, right? So it means that one, I'm writing advantage, one, I'm writing disadvantage, and in when it comes to the conclusion, there I'm stating which one is having more weightage. So it is like it will certainly tell that yes, advantages are outweighing or not. Like advantages are more or the disadvantages of more of the given situation. You do not have to misbalance, yeah, the things in the advantages and disadvantages description body paragraphs. You just need to keep it the way it is. But when it's come to conclusion, there you can quote it like the advantages are more like more weightage full or whatever you can say, that you can have to quote there in the conclusion.
So
But keep it, the balance need to be there in the both paragraphs. You don't have to explain more advantage only, then you will be saying okay, now this is more advantageous. And if you feel like yes, you certainly have something which is quite relevant as an advantage, and it also boosts up its value being advantageous subject, then simply write that. But yes, add a description to that. When it comes to conclusion, then you just don't have to write much there. You just have to write okay, this is the more beneficial thing for the betterment of the society.
okay, so one advantage and in body two, one disadvantage.
Yeah, it will definitely the disadvantages will be there, and the paragraphs will be four only. And the idea can be one more idea you can add in the advantage or disadvantage which you feel is having the more weightage, and that also you're gonna authorize that in the conclusion part as well, by saying that obviously maybe something is it's gonna be related to society, children, or people, that you can reinforce that particular advantage by restating that in the conclusion part. So it will then certainly answer the question part. Welcome, Shetal Bagam, always. And you are quite regular now and on time. And that's what I like about it. Because it's like, yes, you guys are getting knowledge from these classes.
We just try to schedule.
Yeah. All right, great. So I think it's all. No questions further.
No, we just do practice bio and then we realize what comes.
Exactly. You need to do a lot of practice, and topic familiarization is very important to collect ideas and examples, because the more essay you will be reading, the more topics you will come across, the more ideas you will come across, the more examples you will come across, and that's very beneficial.
Or we can do like a flashcard session, like take some topic and write down the couple ideas or
Couple of
something.
ideas on that.
Yeah,
Yes, we can do that maybe someday. Maybe next week we will plan on some activity like that.
yeah, so straight away we can just implement.
Write that.
Yeah.
All right, sure. We will. I'll try to have such activity class someday for the writing class too, and yeah, it'll be fun learning.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a nice one. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just trying to do my story not like that way. So
All right. All right. That's great.
okay.
Fine. All right. So, all right. So it's good evening from my side. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank
I
you.
mean, lovely evening ahead. And I'll see you tomorrow. That's 2 to 4. And let's see what we're going to practice, what we want to practice tomorrow. So we will be doing that module, right? All good?
Yeah, thanks. Like
Thank you.
speaking and writing, so like that way we can just more interrupt, like communicate with during the classes, more like interactive session. We can improve further.
Speaking. Okay, fine. Actually speaking, if you guys give your participation, then it becomes a good session. Otherwise, if it's like it's like it's about all about your participation. If you guys participate, definitely even I enjoyed that session, and you will gain a lot of knowledge about that, because random ideas will be coming, random vocabulary words you will be hearing. Maybe you do not know, other people know, and you know other people don't know.
Okay.
So it's like a give and take kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I'll try to have a speaking session tomorrow. I'll see if the participation level is great, then definitely I'll keep that in the week, like in the schedule of the week. The one day we will devote to that thing as well, right? And we try to have some flashcard kind of activity with the speaking as well,
Yeah.
so that it becomes an interactive session, right?
Mm.
All right, and thank you for your inputs, Sheetal. I love them, and thank you very much for being here to learn. And it's like a good. It is always a good thing to have you guys in the class. And bye bye. Good evening. Yeah. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.